And thanks for staying with us in our series on the book of Jonah called Rescue Me. You know, it's getting pretty exciting in this story because God has called Jonah. He's kind of decided to run away, and now he is on a ship headed far away from where God wants him to be. I want you to notice, though, one thing. That everything that Jonah does, even though it flies against what God is asking of Jonah, everything that Jonah does is pretty normal. It's pretty normal for a prophet to jump onto a ship. You'll see that as he goes through this, he goes on the ship, he goes down to the deepest part of the ship. He closes his eyes, he goes to sleep, he's trying to shut out everything. And even though there's a storm brewing, Jonah is trying his absolute best to not hear God. But you see, the thing is, nobody knows that God's spoken to him, really, at this point. So on the outside, everything just looks normal. It would be like me saying, hey, I'm going to go to Sydney. And then when I get to Sydney, I'm going to go, oh yeah, I'm just going to watch some TV. And then after watching some TV, I'm going to go out shopping. And after shopping, I'm going to go buy some things. And I'm going to go eat some food. And then I'm going to do this. And all the while, you may not know that I'm trying to avoid an inner prompting that God has in my heart to speak to a neighbor, to preach the gospel to a friend, to ask how my wife is doing, or have a chat with my kids about a difficult issue. See, that's kind of what happens with Jonah. He goes out of his way by trying to do seemingly normal things that nobody can fault him on just to get away from God. But you know what? God relentlessly pursues Jonah. God does not let Jonah get away with it, and he makes a big deal out of it. You know, C.S. Lewis has this quote, which I love. It goes, the hardness of God is kinder than the softness of man, and his compulsion is our liberation. That means that even when God pursues us with seemingly tough things, it's really for our own good. Because you see, Jonah is at a place where he is so consumed with his own life, his own things, they become his idols. And they cause him to get further and further away from God. Sometimes our own culture and our own idols, the things that we want, rise above God's culture, take precedence over God. You know, when they asked Jonah, who are you? Jonah first introduces himself as, I am Hebrew. Sometimes our own culture can be our idol. I could say, I'm an Australian. I'm Asian first. And so because I'm Asian, I'm off pursuing my career, my education. I'm pursuing all these kinds of things. Because I'm Aussie, I'm off pursuing all these kinds of things. What God wants us to do first is say, I'm a child of God. I'm a servant of God. And I will do what God wants me to do. This particular session looks at how God pursues with love. How he wants the best for us, even when we hide it with seemingly normal things. God bless.